As you guys may know, we already did an Animator ranks Punishing Gray Raven Ultimates, which was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of strong opinions. One of them that stuck out was Lucia, because we had animated Lucia Plume, and I had some suggestions for them. Recently, I heard that they implemented some of these suggestions for their newest Lucia frame, Lucia Pyroath. I don't know if this is true or not, but since Kuro Games asked me specifically to review Lucia's new frame, we're gonna find out today in this video. This time, we're not just gonna look at ultimates, but every skill and their combat animations. So it's time to find out which one of Lucia's frames in Punishing Gray Raven has the best animation. Whew. Yo, she caught that sword mid-air. This intro animation is pretty sick. wait a minute. Wait, why is the sword bending before she touches it? That's probably an interpolation issue with 60 FPS. This happens sometimes with games, but it looks cool. I'm gonna forgive it. Dodge animation is cool. Pretty basic, kind of anti-gravity defying. The effects are cool though. Oh, she does the spinny sword in the catch again. I'm sensing a theme. It's good. I do feel like it's slightly cartoony with how much she goes up with her torso. The amount that you sort of exaggerate movements will typically emphasize a certain style, like between playful and serious. So like serious tends to go more realistic. Playful tends to go more emphasized, more exaggerated. The torso here goes up pretty high as she recovers and then down pretty low. It looks good, but it does give slightly more of a cartoonish style. So she feels a little younger, a little bit more, you know, playful, which is cool. Notice how this sword is facing this way, but this slash is facing this way. Just align these two, like that'll feel a lot better. Yeah, I mean, even from that angle, it could be a little bit more straight, more aligned. Oh, wow, that was fast. Just a very small thing. Like if she had her foot a little bit more forward, you see how much better that looks? Her center of mass is not quite centered over her feet, and so she looks like she's falling over. This is a very small nitpick, but it makes a big difference. Lotus here losing a few points, but again, one of their earlier animations, it's a lot older than the rest, so you know, we'll see how it holds up. I don't know how I feel about this double jab. It's a cool idea, but is it executed properly? From a gameplay perspective, it's clear what's happening, which is good. Here's the thing, right here, notice her torso, her center of mass, goes back, forward, and then comes back in, and then forward again. It's that double forward motion that feels a little bit weird. It's not bad, and it works well for reading it quickly in a battle, but it does feel a little bit unnatural because you can't actually move your center of mass that fast. But the point is here that like if you want to make this feel like a samurai, like going super fast, you actually only want to move their hand and their upper body, and then have it come back in, and then have it come back out, come back in. It's a small thing, but it'll make it feel a lot more believable weight-wise because there is a lot more weight to her center of mass that feels less believable when it moves that quickly. Oh, it's her ultimate. Ah, yes. I remember this. It's cool, but it does give me the same vibes as the Omni Slash from Final Fantasy. But not executed quite as well, which is what it is. Oh, she's got a little victory animation too. That's cool. These are good, but it's like nothing crazy. Like I'd say they're pretty basic animations. I'm going to predict that she's going to be the worst. They animated her way before anyone else. So it's been years and years they haven't updated her. As the frames get released, I'm sure they'll have more up-to-date animations relative to their skill set. We'll see how Dawn feels compared to Lotus and see if I'm right. There's something strange about this weight-wise. I think it's the fact that she lifts her hand slightly here, which actually lifts the sword. It makes the sword feel a little bit light right there. So it goes down and immediately bounces up. It's almost got like a linear interpolation. See that? If it was smoothed out and delayed slightly, it would feel slightly heavier and a lot better. The silhouette here is very unclear. The entire anticipation is built into the drawing animation here, but you can't see it. Just imagine real quick if you just had something like this, then you actually could see the hand draw. That is so much stronger. You guys see that? This feels stronger because you can see every lip. You can see the entire silhouette. You see the anticipation. You see what's going to happen. You know this is going to be pulled out. Right now, you don't. Oh, that was cool. Oh, wow. Oh, hey. Whoa. Hold up. This is way better than I thought it would be based on the intro. Check this out, guys. The settle on this is great. She comes in here, she stops, and then notice her arcs. Her sword continues to move forward because it has momentum. That's really good. And then she settles into this pose really well, but her sword is not perfectly matched with her body like it was for Lotus. This one, there's a little bit of delay on the sword, which makes it feel separate. Feels great. Actually feels so good. Oh, this is the ultimate that I didn't really like that much. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of this movement here. Like, it's cool, but the sudden change where she's spinning here and then she puts her sword behind her back, it's a little weird because she's spinning this way. But what ends up happening is her sword, okay, well, apparently it cuts her in half. It's in front of her here, and then it goes behind her, which it's not supposed to do. It's supposed to be behind her from the beginning. But either way, it goes against her own arc. So it kind of feels like it's working against its own momentum. I almost kind of wish she put put it in front of her, because then it would actually make a little bit more sense, because that's the direction she's spinning. It's not my favorite ultimate, honestly. I kind of almost like Lucia Lotus's better, to be honest. I like her design. It's pretty cool. The floating swords in particular, I love that. Oh, I just realized she's using her wings as the slash. Wait, that was cool. It has the same problem. So this also has the thing where the torso goes forward. I mean, again, it's fine for readability, but it's a small thing that I feel like could be improved. Man, I do want to shout out the effects for this though, because it's such a creative way to use the swords on her back. They act as the slash. It's so cool. Ooh, that's a little weird. Look at that axis rotation. That feels pretty good, right? It would be a shame if something were to happen to it. Oh no, oh no. Oh no, she's just rotating that way now. This is fine ultimately, like she has to rotate that way to like land or whatever, but technically if you want to have an axis rotation there, you can do that with a butterfly twist. This looks like it's setting a butterfly twist, but then it just sort of defies physics and then just like, she just like rotates, which shouldn't be possible in midair. Usually when you do a flip, you have the momentum that you start with and that's it. So the axis of rotation has to be consistent in real life. In this case, she's rotating on an axis and then she just like changes axis right here. The rotational axis starts to be like more horizontal and she starts to rotate this way, right? Like it technically looks fine, but I think it would look better, honestly, if it was a butterfly twist. Okay, so she moves her torso every single time. I don't think the torso movement is super necessary. I feel like it takes away a little bit of the realism. You guys familiar with Ichigo's Bankai? Here we go. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about, guys. Do you see how believable this feels, even though it's a shonen? Nothing's moving but his arm, because that's what has to happen when you do this in real life. If you could, because you can't move your body that fast, but you can move your arm that fast. Dawn is, I would say, slightly higher. Honestly, I give a lot of this to the effects. Lotus is not bad, but Dawn is like slightly above basic, is what I would say. Oh, did you guys see that though? This feels like a really balanced pose. More balanced than the other two. So already we're off to a good start. Woo! Woo-hoo! The spin on the shield. That's sick. God, I actually just want to point out how much I love this part. I like that they actually have a little bit of imperfection in the arc here. It's such a small thing, but it goes up and then it twirls around there. You see that? But it adds so much movement and connection between the momentum that it feels actually really good and really smooth. She pushes this forward. Oh, but she's so well balanced, guys. Look at this pose. This is a really good pose because you can tell her weight's mostly on this foot, but it's still not overshooting. And you have this here as well, which is putting all the weight like on top of this foot. And that's illustrated with her pose. And it feels really, really good. Whew. Oh, that was, I kind of wish they didn't stop the sword momentum. If they continued with the sword momentum, like over here, and just had it like keep spinning and rotating, just a little bit would have been really, really, really nice. I would actually prefer her to rotate it more, get a different silhouette, and then bring it down. Maybe even bringing it down sort of like this way. You know, why have her bring it down over her head over here? She could easily just do the same thing on this side, and it would feel pretty nice. She could like have an arc this way as it curls around her. A good transfer of momentum is always satisfying. I love the anticipation on that though. God, it feels so satisfying. A lot of really good attack animations from Plume already. That was really cool. This is what I'm talking about though, like such strong gyroscopic motion here. She's just slashing in one direction, but it feels so good because of that. She doesn't have a wishy-washy momentum change or anything in the middle. She just continues down this arc and follows through on it, right? Like right here, that's the final arc. It matches her initial rotation axis. It's great. Oh, this is interesting. Kind of got some Hajime no Ippo vibes here, where she's like going left and right. She's shifting her weight really well here. That's cool. Hey, it's the ultimate. You guys know what I think about the ultimate. I think it's satisfying, it's cool, but I would have personally preferred to do something that feels like it's shooting at camera, like something that we did with our version of the ultimate in our animation, which you can check it out if you want to, you know, I don't know, it's pretty cool. But Lucia Plume's ultimate right now doesn't really show her face as much as I would like, and it doesn't have the anticipation that I would think it could have if we did it towards camera. Oh, whoa, 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 this is cool. Okay, a little bit of the same kind of thing that I've seen in the Settle animation. The weight doesn't quite travel as far as it should. Like right here, notice how the sword just kind of suddenly stops. It's moving so fast. Her body's moving so fast, but the sword in particular is moving so fast and then just immediately stops with the rest of her body. I think it'd be cool if her body stopped very suddenly and that's fine, but her sword has just a little bit more weight to it because of, you know, the distance it is from her center of mass. Arms are long, you know, it has a lot of muscles to work with. So if it went slightly further with that momentum and then settled, it would have felt slightly better. It's a small thing. Plume, I feel like she's not perfect. She's the best so far. We have a newer one to review, and I feel like she's gonna dethrone Plume, but I want to give Plume the top spot right now because she actually improved so much from the previous two. Oh god, what is this frame, bro? Okay. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. First of all, at the beginning here, she could have settled a little bit more with her torso. It's a little bit too static in some cases. Her elbow doesn't bend at all. This is a small nitpick that she could be like a little bit more. Whatever. This doesn't even matter that much because it feels cool. It looks good. The effects are great. The impact's there. What happens after this is crazy, dude. This is great. Facial appreciation, by the way. I've been saying this. Don't be afraid of the face. This pose. This is not just an ordinary pose. This is a great silhouette. This right here perfectly silhouettes with her arm. So it's not like blocking anything. It actually forms a silhouette, even though it's got the face there. It blocks the face slightly, which is great because it carves itself out of the space. This is a great wind-up pose. We have all this effects leading your eye to this anticipation, along with this great obvious sword wind up here you see in the back. This, I want to point out, is my favorite bit. Look at this curved spine. This is not a default curved spine. This is specifically posed to have this curved spine, which is really, really satisfying. And it's something that you don't even register it, but it feels so good. This is such a great character pose. Like, this feels so good. You see everything, dude. Everything is so well highlighted. Like, everything is so clear. It's good. I don't know what happened, but Wuthering Waves must have rubbed off on PGR because this is gorgeous. I have a small gripe with the placement of her hand. Basically, in real life, swords are built specifically to have a center of mass or center of gravity. Usually the center of gravity will be right around here on a sword. In this sword, it looks like a lot more bottom heavy, so that's great. Now, the closer you hold it to the center of gravity, the faster you can swing it. If you hold it like less than the center of gravity, like at the tip here, it starts to feel more like a hammer. Like it starts to feel more like an axe, where it's a lot more top heavy. So right here, she's holding it in a position that isn't really conducive to having a very good handle on the sword. It's a small nitpick. We'll see how it goes. What? Tell me that was her ultimate. Ultimate 1? What do you mean ultimate 1? This is just such a great pose. It points very clearly upwards. The silhouette's really good. Look at this, dude. The amount of care and attention that I'm seeing them put into the hair poses is such a clear difference between the previous frames. This right here just has so much anticipation to it that I love this so much, guys. So the slow progression, the wind up here, really good. Also, not shying away from the face. Yeah, they just straight start up with the eye. That's fantastic. That's so cool. Oh, the floating swords are so cool, dude. They're curved. Yo, that's sick. Just wish she held the sword slightly higher up. Like, just slightly higher up. I like her subtle animations. Oh. Yo, that was cool. What was that mid-air dodge? I love this floating, like taking a couple steps. That's such a nice attention to detail, dude. Wait, no other character can jump? She's the first one. Holy shit. What an upgrade, dude. Oh my God. The craziness about just being able to jump, making you absolutely OP in this game is hilarious. Okay, let's check her weight on that. Yep, that's good. That's real good. Look how balanced she looks. What a great pose. That's really, really good. Small thing, kind of wish her arm was a little higher, but to be fair, she needs to look like she's not trying. What I would recommend for that though is just to have a slightly higher one, just slightly higher, and then also angle her palm this way is a small thing. Or fingers point towards camera and her palm facing downwards. She'll feel slightly more relaxed. Dude, she looks so fun to play. This is wild. Whoa. God, that's badass. What great framing. So this is obviously a great pose already. Every limb, very clear. That's cool. You even have this framing and this framing. That's great. But also just like this. Notice how her body can be outlined and emphasized with these lines of action. Her thigh here, her arm here. This is all emphasizing the lines of action. That's what you want because you're drawing the audience's attention in this direction. That was a cool pose. Yo, this could be like a flash screen art for like Final Fantasy or some shit, dude. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is absolutely insane how clean these poses are because I did not see poses this good in any of the other Lucia frames, honestly. Whew. What even's happening, bro? Whoa, guys, did you see that? Her hair is flowing behind her from the momentum, guys. And it's like perfectly complementing each other in a double helix. Dude, this is actually just so good. Like her hair keeps moving because she stopped so suddenly. Oh, that's such a cool detail, dude. Whoa, remember when I talked about animating hair very specifically? The hair adds so much to this. Look how much this is curving, right? This feels really, really good. And it just, oh, it perfectly unfurls at the right time too. So it unfurls with a slight delay from when she stops moving. She stops twisting around this frame. Like she's already facing in the right direction. Notice how curved her hair still is. This delay is what makes it feel so fluid. So you keep going, the hair unfurls over several frames and it feels fantastic. Not only can she jump, She can straight up fly, bro. This is great because honestly, so easily could they have just like held her in one pose and just let her fly. But notice the slight drift in her legs. So her butt is basically rotating slightly and her legs are drifting slightly and dragging slightly in the air. Like you would see as if your legs were like pieces of cloth. I love the fact that they also spread her legs when she turns and like when she twists, because it makes her feel like she's stabilizing. Like she doesn't want to spin too fast. When you twist and you want to slow down, if you open up your legs from the center of rotation, you will slow down because you're spreading out the momentum. Whoa. Obviously, this is a great pose. We know that this is clearly a great pose. It feels really good and really clear. The silhouette is clear. Very, very, very clear silhouette. Dude, PGR is insane right now. This is actually insane. And also this guy is even like highlighted. That's the enemy, I assume. And so it's just really, really clear everything that's happening here. Fantastic. The pose is good. The buildup is good. The anticipation is good, but that's not what makes it good. What makes it good is these little imperfections at the end here. That's what makes it so good. And these are not just random imperfections, to be very clear. What you're seeing here is specifically, it's a spinning curve. This is what happens when there's an axis of rotation in the middle of this curve, which is her body. Her body is spinning, and you can see the spinning affecting the curve because it's starting to spiral. And why is she spinning? Because she's gonna that slight imperfection in the curve showing the spiraling motion builds up the final slash. Honestly, it might have been cool if it slashed the other way, but either way, it's really good, dude. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take a guess and assume that the thing that people have been telling me was a manifestation of one of my ideas from the previous video is this ultimate. I'm just gonna guess that because the best thing about this ultimate is this. It's when she attacks camera, which is what I wanted them to do. And this is so good. I need to give them such big props for this because not only did they do this idea well, but they executed it flawlessly. The line of action for the spin consistently builds upon itself into the final slash. Notice how she's spinning like this way, right? What is this? If not this, it's the same direction. That is a powerful anticipation and a powerful payoff. Outro animation, pretty sick. We're gonna draw this line right here. See how it goes that way? Diagonally across the screen. What's lined up with it right now? The same line of action in the sword pose. You're pushing that line of action and preserving it so you build on top of it. One thing I don't like about this is a small thing. The sword drifts out of it. Like, look, this is the line of action and the sword just starts to drift for no reason. That's a little saddening. I wish it just stayed. She's not here. What am I putting her here for? Guys, that's insane. I don't know what to say. I cannot quantify how much better this one is compared to the other frames. And that's not to say that the other frames are bad, but like the sheer number of things that was improved in this animation set is insane. I think we have a winner. Obviously, it's Pyroath. Lucia is insane. You should play this game. Pyroath is absolutely gorgeous. She absolutely deserves your love, and you should spend hours and time on her. I love her.